The following people were sentenced to death in 2023. April. Michael Wayne Jones, Florida. Jones, a 41-year-old man from Summerfield, Florida, killed his wife Casey and their 4 children, Cameron Bowers, 9 years old, his brother Preston Bowers, 4 years old, and sisters Marcali Jones, 2 years old, and 11-month-old Ayanna Jones. Jones was charged with second-degree murder for the death of his wife and first-degree murder for each of the children shortly after the crimes. Deputies responded to a welfare check on Casey and the kids on September 14, 2019. This happened after Nikki, Casey's mother, notified the police that she hadn't heard from them in a few weeks. According to reports, Nikki informed the deputy that she thought Jones had hurt the family. When deputies arrived at the allegedly deserted house, they discovered an unpleasant smell coming from it, so they designated the area a crime scene. Jones was engaged in an accident a day later and was taken into custody in Bentley County, Georgia. He subsequently admitted to killing their 4 children and taking them to the location where he had left the bodies. At the time, he had informed authorities that his wife's body was still inside the car. The 2 elder boys were the sons of Jones's wife from a previous relationship, while the 2 younger children were his biological daughters. Jones admitted to the killings and said that he used a metal baseball bat to kill his wife. According to officials, the kids were drowned and strangled on separate occasions. The victims were presumably killed at least 2 months before their remains were discovered in September, according to authorities. Jones had kept the bodies at home for several weeks before transporting them. Desmond Stevenson, California. Robert Green, 23 years old, and Desmond Stevenson, 25 years old, were taken into custody 3 days after 36-year-old Mitesh Patel was shot to death inside the Boise Drive-In dairy. Green and Stevenson robbed Patel at the convenience store while holding him at gunpoint. Police claimed that despite Patel giving them the money, Stevenson, a known member of a gang, shot and killed him. Minutes after robbing and murdering Patel, according to officials, the perpetrators tried to rob Bliss Liquor Store at gunpoint. Patel had a 3-year-old daughter and a wife. Stephen Richard Mulkey, Alabama. Mulkey, who was 28 years old at the time, was accused of capital murder in connection with the murders of Ching Kao, 77 years old, and Sumei Kao, 76 years old, on September 16, 2018. On Friday, September 21, a family member reported them missing. 4 days later, Mulkey admitted to the crimes and provided investigators with the location of the bodies dumped along Rex Lake Road. The historic Siesta Motel on Crestwood Boulevard belonged to the couple. Mulkey's hammer was used to smash the couple to death, and Sumei Kao's throat was cut. When police arrived at the motel, they discovered blood in the office and watched the couple's beating on surveillance cameras that recorded the attack. June. Cedric Marx, Texas. On May 24, Marx, who represented himself in court, was convicted of capital murder in connection with the deaths of his ex-girlfriend Jenna Scott, 28 years old, and her friend Michael Swearingen, 32 years old. On January 15, 2019, the victims' bodies, which had been reported missing in central Texas, were discovered in rural Okfusi County, Oklahoma. On August 21, 2018, Scott's Temple, Texas home was broken into, leading to a burglary warrant. Marx was taken into custody on January 8, 2019, in Kent County, Michigan. He admitted to the jury that he had lied to hide the identity of Maya Maxwell, his murderous accomplice. He was ready to die, suffering from colon cancer, and asked the jury to convict him of the crime and give him the death penalty. Joseph Ziller, Florida. For the horrifying 1990 murder and essay of 11-year-old Robin Cornell and her babysitter, 32-year-old Lisa Story, in Cape Coral, Judge Robert Banning sentenced Joseph Ziller to death. Ziller received 2 death sentences, 1 for each victim. The families of the 2 victims said that the horrifying killings had changed their lives forever. Before officials received a DNA match in November 2016, connecting Ziller to the crime, the case had gone cold. At the time, he was accused of beating his stepson and was being held at Lee County Jail. Stephen Matthew Wolf, Florida. 62-year-old Wolf was found guilty of torturing, essaying, and killing Michelle Osborne on November 21, 2018. That afternoon, Osborne's naked body was discovered in the woods close to the Veikakat Bridge. There was also a trail of broken branches and car components, suggesting that a car had passed through the area. According to autopsy records, Osborne, a homeless woman residing in Marathon, had been essayed and strangled. The Kmart Plaza in Marathon was where authorities located Wolf's van shortly after Osborne's body was discovered. It had branches wedged under it, missing sections resembling those discovered in the woods, and blood was found within, according to the authorities. Soon after, blood-soaked sheets were discovered in town dumpsters. This was not Wolf's first conviction for murder. He was charged with first-degree murder in 1976 when he was 15 years old because he was a member of the gang who killed 77-year-old Enrico Flori in Boise, Idaho. They stole his Social Security money. In November 1978, Wolf entered a guilty plea to second-degree murder and was sentenced to up to 30 years in prison for his involvement in the crime. Brian Patrick Miller, Arizona. Miller received the death penalty after it was shown that in two separate crimes in the early 1990s, he had essayed and fatally stabbed two young Phoenix women. The zombie hunter, Brian Patrick Miller, was convicted in April of 2 counts of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and attempted essay. Miller was found guilty by Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Suzanne Cohen of killing 17-year-old Melanie Bernas in September 1993 and Angela Brasso, 22, on the eve of her 22nd birthday in November 1992 after he had forfeited his right to a jury trial. Miller, 50 years old, entered a not guilty by reason of insanity plea and did not testify in the double murder trial, which started in early October 2022. Authorities said that Brasso and Bernas vanished while riding their bicycles along the Arizona Canal in North Phoenix. According to the police, the murderer took Brasso off the track, stabbed her, and knocked her off the bicycle. She was found beside a bike track and her naked body was decapitated. Bernas's body was found floating in the canal 10 months after Brasso's passing. Bernas's bicycle was gone, but she wasn't beheaded. The same suspect was connected to both attacks, according to DNA evidence gathered by the authorities after the killings, and Miller was taken into custody in January 2015. In a third case, the 1992 disappearance of 13-year-old Brandy Myers, retired detectives from the cold case team that solved the murders of Angela Brasso and Melanie Bernas believe he may be responsible for Brandy's death, but prosecutors have declined to charge him in this case. Miller is also connected to 3 stabbings over a 10-year period that did not result in death. He was 15 years old when he was detained in one of the cases. He entered a guilty plea to the allegation of stabbing-related second-degree attempted murder. Authorities appeal, in part, to an alleged confession made public 8 years ago as proof of Miller's potential guilt, even though Brandy's body has never been located and there is no tangible evidence connecting him to her abduction. Miller's ex-wife informed authorities in an interview with an FBI agent and the Phoenix police detective that he had confessed to killing a teenage girl who fit Brandy's description. Please hit that subscribe button if you like my channel. See you next time. Bye-bye.